So, I'm Josh Atwell, professionalvmware.com with the Brownbacks. I'm here with Bill Ferguson. Bill Ferguson is the author of the new VCP5 study guide, the official study guide from VMware Press. Now, I just kind of laid out there a little bit of what you got. So, Bill, tell us, first off, congratulations on the book.
Thank you very much.
I've personally reviewed a few of the chapters, and it's a great book. I think our audience is going to get a lot of value out of this as they prepare for their VCP5 certification. So tell me a little bit about the book and the things that we can expect from the book, for people working to obtain certification.
Great, thanks, Joshua. But the main reason that I wrote the book is because I wanted people to have the experience of reading a book that was written by a VCI. Because everybody that has you get the certification, you have to go to a class, and you probably found that the class is a lot of fun, right? VCIs are a lot of fun to be with. But then sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes technical books can get really kind of starchy. Can get really kind of dry, stiff. Okay, and so the reason that I wrote it is because I wanted it to be a study buddy kind of approach, a real friendly way to approach the same subject. And because of the fact that in order to pass the test, you have to know the blueprint, right? You have to follow the blueprint. I wrote the book directly on the blueprint.
Right. So the order actually goes along with the blueprint.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. Chapter by chapter, section by section, it goes by the blueprint. And that was kind of tricky to do because sometimes the blueprint isn't exactly the right building blocks to learn something.
Right. And they're not always in the same order because certain components are in different places based on what they're trying to get you to learn.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what I did was I gave you just a little bit of information to get into something that you might not know that, but I need to connect it to something else. I gave you just a little bit of information about that particular topic.
Right.
Okay. And then I said, now later on in chapter 5, section whatever, we'll discuss that in more detail.
Awesome. Well, so one of the things that is always a challenge for guys when they're working on their certification is practice, examples, pointing people to how they need to prepare for the test, other than just reading a book. Right. So, do you provide anything like that in this book?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
I provide activities that you can go through, and I highly recommend that you have the gear to do it with, to set up a virtual environment, which you can do with like Workstation 8.
Yeah. And I'll do a plug here for AutoLab. Download the AutoLab from labguides.com.
There you go.
AutoLab.
Excellent.
You can have a home lab right there on your workstation or your laptop.
Very good.
But
excellent.
And so there's stuff in here that people can take.
There's stuff in there. I can mention, if we have time.
Go ahead.
Okay. There's 5 things that I would focus on in regards to the VCP510 test, really any VMware test. And the first one is configuration management. Sometimes people think that's kind of a football thing, but really there's reason behind it. If you say you're an expert in cars or something, you should know what the horsepower is, and torque is very different, what those maximums can be, even if you don't plan on.
Well, you need to know your limitations.
Exactly, and so what they'll do is they'll just kind of work one of those in and work the configuration maximums in some of the sometimes, and you can eliminate that one if you know that fact.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's one. The second thing is new to version. And what I mean by it is if it's new to the previous version, like for example, this one would be to 4.1.
Right.
And I want to be real clear that this book actually is completely valid up until the next major release. So it's for 5.0 and 5.1. Okay. The blueprint will remain the same until the next major release.
Okay.
So the new version, those are always but what we're talking about here in this book is new from 4.1 to 5.0.
Okay.
All right. Then the next thing is ports, okay? Because everybody has had the experience where you didn't have the right ports when you're in the firewall.
Yeah.
Right. So they have those, and sometimes it's something you picked up, you picked this number like VDR is 22024, not something that's all triple all the time. And then the fourth one is tables. Anything that you read that's in a table, whether it's in my book, whether it's in PDF, whatever it is, if somebody went to the trouble to make a table, then it must be important information. Also, it's low-hanging fruit for somebody who's putting together the table.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah, that's definitely a good point.
And then the last one, because I know we're running out of time, but the last one is what I call dialogue box questions, because there's no simulations on the test. So, Josh, how are they going to know that you could actually do it? Well, what they do, they ask you a question that you would have to see the dialogue boxes in your head in order to be able to get the question right. And that way, it's not a paper certification. If you can pass the test, that you should actually be able to sit down and actually do it.
Well, and that goes right to a lot of the comments that I know I've heard from our audience and from the community about the VCP5 versus the previous version is you really needed to have some hands-on experience in order to do that.
Absolutely.
And it sounds like this book, the new book, it's the official cert guide from VMware Press for VCP5. It sounds like it gives a lot of things for an admin that's looking to certify, ways to get started and ways to get that experience.
I hope so. And I hope it's a fun read for them, and because if you have fun, you're going to learn it, you're going to retain it better. So I hope it can help people not only to pass the test, but also to have the confidence to schedule and go take and pass it.
All right, Bill, I really appreciate the time. It was really great talking to you. I'm glad we were actually able to get to sync up and talk. All right, so make sure you go out, check out, get the VMware Press, the VCP5 study guide. I have reviewed quite a bit, not all of it, but some great material. Thanks for watching.